So y there was y equals x squared, which was like a parabola. You know what I'm saying? But then
I do.
if you had y equals x minus 5 squared, do you remember what happened to that parabola?
It would go up 5.
Good guess. Good guess. It would actually go right 5.
Okay.
But good guess. It's counterintuitive. You remember that word?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you had y equals, hold on, I need to change my color. Y equals x squared plus 5. Now tell me what it would do, Kennedy. Repeat your answer.
Then it would go up 5.
That's right. You remember all that?
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool. All of that is still applicable. So,
Okay.
if you look, here's what you need to know. Let's just start with sine and cosine. Okay? Sine of 0 is 0. Okay?
Okay.
So sine starts right here. Then it goes up and back down, and it keeps going forever like that. Okay? Can you remember that?
Yeah.
Cosine of 0 is 1. Do you remember that?
Kind of.
Okay, cool. So cosine would start up here as the intercept, go down, and come back up. Now, again, it keeps going on forever and ever and ever. Isn't this fun? Okay, so do you understand those two things?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so here's how you would do this. And you can use Desmos as much as you want to help you on this section.
Okay.
So the way I would advise doing this question, where did it go? Right here? No. Okay, all right. First, just type in sine of x into Desmos. So maybe even y equals sine of x. Do you see how it starts at 0, 0, just like we said?
Yes.
And then after pi over 2, it's at its maximum.
Mm-hmm.
After pi, it's at 0. At 3 pi over 2, it's at its minimum. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Now, I'd like to actually remind you of one other thing that you knew, which was called the unit circle. You remember the unit circle that you've learned about?
Yeah, the like it's like broken up into certain like marks, and then it's
Exactly right. That's exactly right. You remember that it was like always cosine comma sine.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
So this is shoot, I screwed this up. Time out. All right, so this one would be 1 comma 0. Okay. This one would be 0 comma 1. This one would be negative 1 comma 0. And this one would be 0 comma negative 1. Are you with me on all that?
Yeah.
Now look, think about, I'm going to turn this graph into orange real quick. Okay?
Okay.
Remember that this one is the sine. The y coordinate represents the sine, right?
Yeah.
So where does the y coordinate start when we're at 0? Where is the y coordinate here?
It would be 0.
That's right. Look where we start the curve. Now, after 90 degrees, where's the y coordinate when we're here?
1.
That's where this is.
Okay.
After 180 degrees, where are we here?
It would be back to 0.
Back to 0. That's where that is. After 270 degrees, we're here.
It would be negative 1.
And then after 360 degrees, that is
It would be
one
back to 0.
full period. Does that help you at all?
Yeah, it does a lot.
Okay, good. I figured it would. So now if I go back to here and go back to Desmos, you can see, look at this point. That's pi over 2 comma 1. Remember, pi over 2 is 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270, 360, okay?
Okay.
So now let's look at what happens when we have y equals sine of x. Now, hold on. This might get screwed up. No, good. It knew that I wanted degrees. Do you see what happened? It shifted left 90 degrees.
Okay.
Now, you might say, 90 degrees, what the heck is that? This is pi over 2. I'm sorry, 90 degrees. Is that pi over 2?
I think so.
Yep, yeah, it is. Okay. So it's just shifted left. Actually, hold on. I think I want to do pi. Yeah, okay, that's what we wanted. Or what if I did 90 degrees? I don't know. Yeah, there you go. That did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. So what I really want to tell you about that is it's the same adjustment that has been made all along. So this one's going to go left 90. Okay?
Okay.
All right, now the amplitude is how high the wave goes. So if you go back to Desmos, clear all these sliders.
It would be 1, right?
That's exactly right. Now that number is always the number that is right there. There's a 1 there. There's a 1 there. There's a 1 there. Okay?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, look, on this one, guess what the amplitude? Let me put this in. Let's take a good look at that one, okay? In Desmos. Will you look at that on your worksheet or whatever and then read it off to me so I can type it into Desmos?
Yeah.
All right, tell me what you got.
So it's y equals 2 cosine in parentheses 3.
Okay?
Another parentheses.
Yep.
And then
We'll call it x. That's theta. Can you say that for me? Th, theta.
Theta.
Okay?
Plus 45 degrees. And then 2 parentheses, the closing.
Yep, I got you.
And then plus 2.
Okay, now notice, I haven't. Let me just graph that real quick, Kennedy, okay?
Okay.
So what did this do? It goes twice as high. That's because of that. Okay? Now, these waves occur 3 times more often. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the time that it took for one red wave to finish, there would be 3 red waves finishing in the same time.
Okay.
Now that is going to be called the period. So the amplitude is always that number. Okay?
Yeah.
The period is always 2 pi divided by that number. Okay?
Yeah.
So here, the amplitude here was 2. And then now I'll go back into the equation. Do you understand that so far?
Yes.
So I got to go back to my equation and put, did you say plus 45 degrees? No, plus 2, right?
2.
So now from before, that's just going to, look, that just moved it up 2.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
So now, and again, use Desmos to play around and help yourself with this.
Okay.
So the amplitude, let me clear this real quick. No. Clear. All All right, here we go. So the amplitude
would be 1.
No, we're going to go number 7. The amplitude was 2.
Amplitude would be 2.
Okay. The phase shift, that means, go ahead.
Would be 3.
Okay, good guess. The phase shift is whether or how much it's shifting to the left and the right. So this would be 45 degrees left, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The vertical shift, what's that, Kennedy? That's how much it goes up and down.
2.
So 2 up or plus 2 would be fine for that. Okay. And then we skip the period. The period you would need my help with, but I'm going to remind you of it, and then you're going to jot it down in like a note. The period is always 2 pi divided by the number that's in front of our x or our theta.
Okay.
So that's 2 pi over 3. And if I go back to my Desmos, and if I clear this, what does that mean? Just like take notice of where this starts. It starts like right here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how long does it take to get back there? Well, it's on the way up. It's about right like that. Okay? Now watch this. What is 2 times pi, enter, divided by 3? It's 2.09. That's that number right there, Kennedy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So it takes 2.09 units to complete the curve.
Okay.
And that is 2 pi over 3. Does that help you?
It does.
All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Now, tangent is in a wave. So I'll give you one little more help session here. Tangent is sine over cosine. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So like tangent of x is sine of x over cosine of x. Well, think about it. We're not allowed to divide by 0 in life, right?
Correct.
And so we're going to have breaks in this graph. And so you can see that they're not labeled here, but there are vertical asymptotes everywhere that cosine equals 0. Because whenever we have cosine equal to 0, we're going to approach infinity. Have you seen me do that thing when, the reason you can't divide by infinity is that the reason that you cannot divide by 0 is that the answer is infinity. Are you familiar with that, Kennedy?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what the tangent looks like. So if you look at like the tangent of x minus 45 degrees, looks what happens. It just shifts it right 45 degrees.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Wee-oo, 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 wee-oo. Sorry, now I'm just playing around. All right, does that help?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
I'll send you this video so you can rewatch it if you were confused about anything.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great seeing you. Tell Q I said hi and your parents. See you, Kennedy.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Bye-bye. Boom.
Bye.